Hello, and welcome to the EU Casting Couch YouTube channel. Today I'm going to do something a bit different from the rest of the things that we have on this channel, and I'm going to be doing kind of a tutorial for one of the characters in Overwatch. He is brand new. Everybody knows the new character, Doomfist, now. And basically what I want to do is I want to go over some of his abilities and some basic things that you can do with him. There are, definitely videos out there already of strategies to use with him, his skills, and that kind of thing, but I'm going to be going in and just talking about some of his things, some maybe misconceptions, some things that you can learn to do with him, and definitely about his passive, which I think a little bit of people might have wrong at this point. I'm not sure where he's going to fit into the overall meta, so I can't talk about that just yet, even though I have experience casting and everything. Definitely the pros are the people to look to for, hey, this is where he's going to fit into the overall meta. This is more about just, like, this is kind of the things that you can do playing the character, these are his abilities, this is what I think he will be good at the very least. And from there, you can figure out some things on your own. There are combos that you can do with him and his abilities. So let's get started. I'm going to go into the practice range, and I'm just going to test some of his abilities for you, talk about them, and then I'm going to talk about him overall as a character. So let's get into this practice range.
Only through conflict will we be born.
Alright, so there are definitely a few different abilities with him. He has a regular left click, which is a shotgun. It works at range, and it has a pretty far drop off for damage. It is fairly accurate even at range. Like, the burst does stay more or less the same. There's a slight difference in it. It is also a projectile, which will feel weird to use for characters who are used to Reaper or Roadhog. Even with that delayed hit scan, it's still a hit scan, and it is a different skill entirely to use his projectile. His projectile does a good bit of damage at close range, and is mostly used to just fill the gap between his abilities. Doomfist is an extremely ability-dependent character, and once you get used to his abilities and their timing, you'll find that he works a lot better when you're peppering in some left clicks, especially when the enemy is still at range. And when you're in, like, medium range, it does quite a bit of damage compared to a lot of things that you can get. So, there is that. He does have his right click, which he is known for. It's his rocket punch. When it's fully charged, it takes 4 seconds to do. It will do 100 damage, and then, if you hit an enemy into a wall with it, it will actually do 250. He will completely destroy any offensive hero that you can find if you can hit them with that rocket punch. It also has a distance, like an effective distance of his punch for 28 meters. He will go a full 30 though. So if you are looking to move across the map, it is an option. I wouldn't use it primarily as his movement ability though. It's good for engage and it's good for disengage, but you do want to have that up. That is his main damage source. So you're going to want to use that to the best of its ability instead of just, kind of throwing it away to get into the fight or move around during the fight. There is a lot more that you can do with him by just having that cooldown up. His shift is also an uppercut. It does 50 damage, and it's not really your primary damage source. It is more just like a movement ability. You can combo it with the E to move around very well. The E is also a little shockwave that he does. He jumps forward and he pulls the enemies closer when they're hit by it. It doesn't stun compared to what some people believe. I thought it stunned earlier today, but after looking over everything, it doesn't. It really just pulls them forward too, so you can do some more burst damage with them on the left click or the right click, immediately comboing out of it. And for the shift into the air, the E also has an extra effect. When you're higher up, it does more damage, but also it has a cone of range and a cone of effect that you can see in front of him from this higher vantage point. you can aim that. It is not just a, you know, look forward and do your damage sort of thing. It's not just forward and then move just like that. You can do it straight down. You can aim after enemies. Not too many people know this yet who haven't been testing him out. Basically, you can shift up, shift down, pull somebody in, right click, and get a nice combo off on them. The wonderful thing about Doomfist, the one thing that really makes him work, I think, as like a very hard engaged sort of offense hero, is his passive ability. There is some question currently for people about how much shield he gets. Is it a percentage of his damage? Is it anything else? It is a baseline 30 shield that he is given for every skill. It doesn't matter what damage your skill does, it doesn't matter anything else. It is specifically just 30 shield. If you can land a shot on somebody, you're gonna get 30 no matter what. Like, his uppercut will do 50 damage, and his ground pound will do about 30 if you're just on the ground. It really doesn't matter at that point. They will both gain you 30 shield no matter what. Doesn't matter difference, doesn't matter anything. If you land your right fist rocket punch with the Doomfist, you still only get 30, even if you full charge it. So that is some of his basic abilities. You can use those to move around. There's lots of mobility in this character. He's super good for that. There's also his Q, which is the meteor strike from above. It does 200 damage in the middle of the cone, and from outside of that it does less and less. Bit of knock-up, but not too much. He really kind of thrives off of his skills and off of his abilities. His left click is more to just like pepper in, do it in the mid-range so that you can get in there, do your damage, and then get out. There are cooldowns for him. They are fairly short because he is a fully ability-based hero. Like, his left click is more just to kind of round out the damage, round out what exactly you're doing with him, not to, like, do your primary fire, though there is some interesting things with that, especially against Doomfist, because Doomfist kind of ends up countering himself, of all things. He is very good if you just keep at range and poke another Doomfist with your left click. It reloads fast enough that you can just kind of get around the map, do some damage against the enemy, and just keep on spamming out that left click for damage on people. It doesn't have too much damage at range past around 10 or 15 like meters, but it does do the job. It will pepper them out, get you some of that ult charge that you need to get in there with that, do some damage to a full group, or just keep Doomfist off of you. Keep him at your range. Mid-range is where you want to be fighting another Doomfist so that you don't have to go in hard with abilities, and maybe you'll die. Maybe you'll die in the middle of a fight, maybe you'll die in a 1v1 in arcade or anything like that. If you find yourself playing Doomfist against another Doomfist, what you want to do is keep it in your range instead of going up in his. There is some overall play for him, and I will get to that in just a second. Going to change the footage out for some regular no limits in the PTR arcade right now. So basically with Doomfist there are a lot of different things that you can do. He plays more like a fighting game character than an FPS character. It's a comment that I've gotten from a lot of people who have been playing him. He has a lot of combos and everything with his abilities that you can do. Just generally you'll want to be able to have some go-tos for you, like you'll want to have an E into a right click. You can do that by shifting up into the air and getting down on an enemy and then like pulling them in for that, or you can right click from a distance and just jump in, engage on the fight. He's definitely a hard go ham sort of character. You need to move in there and do that damage so that your team can move in with you, I think. Don't exactly know the 6-stack meta just yet, but basically Doomfist is a character that goes in and he gets his damage done by doing abilities. You need to know exactly what his ability cooldowns are, you need to know how to engage with enemies, and you need to know which enemies to avoid. Number one enemies to avoid with Doomfist at this point is hit scan. Just generally hit scan is something that you don't want to deal with, even if it's like another Doomfist. Even though he has a projectile, he is very bad if you want to like go against a Doomfist at mid-range. If you just keep getting hit by his left click and you can't engage on him, and the other Doomfist is just like out footworking you in the mid-range, you won't be able to get in there and engage on him properly unless you like really go for it. The shield helps, but if you don't land any of your abilities on the enemy team, it's not gonna help you at all. Like, you can get max 90 shield if you land everything, but to do that you need to be in the enemy team already, because you can't shift into an E and then right click at the enemy team and land your shift if you're that far away. You need to be able to engage on the team in a way that helps you by getting your shield immediately and then moving into your other abilities, running around with them, because that 90 shield, if you can get all of them, will help you so much in the meantime. But the thing is, you need to have it. It's definitely hard, and with hit scans will poke you to death at range. You need to be able to engage on them, or you need to be able to have your team run interference on them, or you won't be able to get anything done. Doomfist definitely thrives in a full 6v6 environment where you have other people drawing attention away from Doomfist, or you have other people engaging with you. I think it's one of the reasons why he's going to be popular with Dive, as much as Dive is an issue right now in the Overwatch meta. He's definitely a hero that's going to thrive in that. He may also thrive in like Dive shutdown comps, but basically you need to have either a coordinated team working with you, or in a solo queue meta, if you have an enemy team that's really not paying attention to what you're doing, that's not exactly like understanding what is going on with you and what's going on with the enemy team, then you probably will be able to get some like nice right clicks off, insta kill squishies and things like that, because they're really not going to expect what's coming at them. They're not going to expect that, okay, the enemy team is going to engage right now. But right now, I think his best opportunity at getting things done is to run at the enemy team with his team, with distractions in the way, with a shield in front of him or with a Zarya bubble on him, so that he doesn't get poked down immediately as he's engaging. Hit scan, specifically Soldier and Sombra and anybody who can do anything like that, is a hard time for him. Junkrat will also shut him down, and CC abilities like Roadhog and Junkrat's Trap are difficult for him. You can right click all you want, but if you get hit by that Junkrat Trap, then you're not moving anymore. That's just how it goes. You can still be hooked out of it. Orisa, the window for her pull is too like small when he's dashing through it for him to be pulled away. But if he's just running at Orisa and he gets pulled back away, she's going to be able to have a nice fight on him from a range. Doomfist is more about running in, hitting the squishy DPS, hitting the squishy healers, and not exactly contesting with the tanks or doing anything like that. He's more of like a surprise attack or a glass cannon as far as games go, rather than anything else. But yeah, that is my thoughts on him just in general. Some combos that you can do with Doomfist would be shift up, like in the air in front of the enemies, and then E to engage on them. That way you can pull them into you, get a right click off, do some left click spam damage if you like instead, so that you can get some guaranteed damage before you go in for it, or anything else like that. You can also shift into engagements. I wouldn't always recommend it, especially if you're going straight at a hit scan or anything like that. And then you can E to stun them, shift to hit them up, and then get the full 90 shield that you'll need to survive in that fight. There's also just like left click spam at a distance, and then when you get them moving in the way that you want to move, like get them moving left or right and know their movement pattern away from that, then you can right click in and engage on a person and just keep on comboing them, keep on moving them around in your space. Definitely the best thing to do as an offensive Doomfist is to pull them into your timing, pull them into your comfortable space, whether that's you playing at medium range with Doomfist, you know, really liking his shotgun gauntlet, or whether that's, like me, going in close, doing his ability damage and that kind of thing. That's really more up to you. But I think that's going to be about it for this video. These are just some basic topics. If you want any more detailed information or anything like that, you can go find other videos, or you can ask me questions if you like in the comments below. But yeah, that's about it for me, and I hope that you enjoyed this video, and hopefully we will see you next time if I do more videos like this. Alright, have a nice day, everybody.